Ladies and gentlemen, Trista.
I'd like to thank Lake Cree Nation for inviting Cooperatives First and myself to come out here and present, and as well as Peter and Cheryl. I'd like to acknowledge we are in Treaty 6 territory at homeland of the Métis. Okay, so I'm the business development lead for Cooperatives First. Cooperatives First is a business development organization out of Saskatoon, and we educate and create awareness of the co-op business model throughout Western Canada. We focus on rural and Indigenous communities, and we work across the 4 Western provinces. So Cooperatives First was developed out of a research project at the University of Saskatchewan. The research project identified that rural and Indigenous communities could not identify what a co-op is, and the knowledge of the co-op business model was limited to credit unions and the cooperative retailing system and insurance. So we were formed to showcase what a co-op is and what we can do for people in rural areas. Our process is we can host workshops. We have many resources available to groups or communities that want to learn more about co-op and help them develop their own co-ops. So we will host workshops and do speaking engagements, educational workshops that are tailored to community needs. We also have online resources. We have a program called the Co-op Creator that is just being released, which will guide groups through the co-op process from incorporation, getting a steering committee together, creating the articles of incorporation, bylaws, bylaw creations, and any other needs that a group wants to create their co-op. So what is a co-op? It is a versatile business model. The business model is where a collective of people work together for a business. It is one member, one vote, so the decision making is not centralized, and everybody within the co-op have an equal say of how the business will operate. So benefits of co-ops is the wealth stays local, and it can create capacity of each individual. It's people working together, learning off each other, and creating a strong business within the communities. One of the most common cooperatives in Western Canada are producer co-ops. So producer co-ops are most commonly found with farming, agriculture, fishing, where the producers come together to pool their resources and have the co-op take over the business aspect. So the producers can focus in on what they're good at producing the goods or services that they're used to, and then they allow the co-op to manage the day-to-day operations, marketing, getting insurance, distribution, worrying about that and being the owners of the business while they're focused on creating the goods. A good example of this is the Red Hat Cooperative in southern Alberta, where it started off as 10 farms over 50 years ago, and it's grown to over 33 farms today. The farmers use the co-op to sell their goods, pull their goods so then they could produce to the Sobeys, Loblaws, Federated Co-op, and they focus on running their farms. They also use the co-op to do bulk purchasing, so that way the co-op could purchase at wholesale prices and sell back and save the individual farms the extra cost, and they can purchase it from the co-op at the wholesale prices. So I'd like to highlight 3 of our projects that we have been involved with at different stages. So the first is the Food, Forest, and Learning Center.
shore of Manitou Lake sits a 50-acre parcel of land rich with natural food and herbs.
There's food everywhere. There's fruit, there's herbs, it's incredible. There's sage, there's sweetgrass. Really, everything is there.
Aptly named, the Food Forest is the first of two locations that make up the Food Forest and Learning Center Co-op. The second is in the town of Viscount. The Learning Center, a decommissioned church, provides temporary housing for families in distress and hosts classes and workshops. When asked about why the co-op was established, founding director Maggie Bluewaters responded.
I see the need for food security, even though it may seem ironic, we're in rural Saskatchewan, the need is still here for food security. Like I always say that you need awareness first, and then you have some knowledge, and then you have action. So that's really what our cooperative is about. It's a response to need.
And why did Maggie and the other founding directors choose to form a co-op?
I felt that it was very close to a tribalness. It was very close community in that same way, and that's exactly what I was looking for. This work and food security also then tends to healing, and it's good work. It's fun work.
And what was forming the cooperative like?
It was a process that really was not that difficult once we had some guidance. It's like anything in life, that guidance is what brought us here, and now we're ready to go to work, which is very exciting.
Okay, so the second project I'd like to highlight is the Turtle Island Commercial Fishing Co-op. This one is we've been involved with since April of this year. Manitoba was the last province to pull out of the freshwater fish marketing co-op or corporation. So fishermen had to sell their fish through this monopoly. Fishermen were upset because they felt that the freshwater was not going after the right market. It was not listening to the fishermen. And so the Manitoba government ended the monopoly. And so the Manitoba Métis Federation put on a one-day gathering of all the fishermen to find out what is a viable option for the fishermen. From this meeting, Cooperatives First was invited to attend this meeting and help facilitate, and the fishermen decided that they wanted to do a co-op and have regional representation, and they created a steering committee, which we helped with the writing of the incorporation documents, articles of incorporation. We presented bylaws that they could use as a template, so that way they could write their own bylaws that would reflect the fishermen and what the co-op will do for them. We've also helped, because the steering committee are fishermen by trade, that is their main goal, and not the co-op development. We help with writing a work plan of individual milestones that a co-op needs to hit and how to help. So we're available to the steering committee for when they want to hit each milestone, and we will fly out to Winnipeg to meet with the fishermen as they're working through the process. The last one I'm going to highlight is the First Nations Technical Services Co-op. That one was created in 2015 from the Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations. They wanted to, it was in response to the Conservative government's omnibus bills, and they were trying to regulate the water treatment, the housing inspections, and they were trying to make First Nations in Saskatchewan follow provincial laws, and they wanted it done through provincial bodies. So the FSIN initiated this First Nations Technical Services Co-op so that it would be run by the community members and tribal councils, the individual bands, so that way they can do all of these services, pull the resources, and that way the money would not go to outside organizations, because we have technicians in our communities that can do the work. So it was just a way of organizing all of our service, all of their services, and keeping it within Indigenous populations. The Technical Services Co-op was already formed when cooperatives first became involved. So what we did with them was we helped them with their bylaw development. They had their bylaws, but they weren't really reflective of what their co-op does. And so we just helped with the creation of the bylaws, and they have recently just had held their first AGM. So all the planning and all the requirements that the AGM has to have within the province, we helped organize that, and we stay in contact with the Technical Services Co-op with any questions they have. So those were our 3 projects that we've helped with, and there's many more that are available. So like I said before, we work across all 4 provinces. We pay for our own travel. As long as there's an interested group or community that want to hear from us or think that we can help in any way, we are available. But feel free to come talk to me. I have business cards and thank you for listening.